Hi, I'm Graham Simpson and this is a review of the Feiyu Tech AK4500. Hello guys, good to see you again. This is the review for the new Feiyu Tech product, the Feiyu Tech AK4500, 4500, whatever you want to call it. This is not quite out yet, but Feiyu Tech have kindly sent me this unit. They're not paying me for this video. I've always wanted to say that, always. They're not paying me for this video, but they have kindly sent me this product to review. So from the front, the Feiyu Tech AK4500 looks the same as any other gimbal to a point. That's the Feiyu Tech AK2000. Let's power that up so it sits nicely. So you can see there's not a lot in it. Seems a bit taller actually, but maybe it's not. Not a huge difference in everything, but we'll get onto that later on. Power that down. Say goodbye. So one of the first features that's hugely different for Feiyu Tech and this gimbal is, turn that to there, this extension handle. So this aluminium build plate out here and this extra arm on this bit. Now this is probably the bit that a lot of people are most interested in because it's quite different, this one. So I'm going to start here with this review. This, I can't think what they call this now. This does have a name, it has an official name. This is, as stated in this book, the Hyperlink Remote Controller. So what I've done here is I've powered it on and now it's connected to this. So if I set that to that mode, so imagine this is just the miniature version of that handle there. It does have the tiniest little screen and 3 buttons, or a joystick and 2 buttons on there, USB charge, a button on the side for accessing the menu, a rocker switch on the back and the trigger switch like it does on the back of here. So it's pretty obvious what it's going to do. As you can see, I'm turning this wheel that way and it's doing that. If I press that wheel in, it changes the mode. So now it's gone from tilt to yaw. Depending on how fast and how hard you turn will change the speed of how quickly or softly that will turn. I think you can change the settings either in this or you can change them in that one. I can't quite remember, but yeah, you can change all those and then press it in the third one, it will do that. By double tapping on the button on the back, it resets it back to 0, the default positioning of the gimbal. Now the rocker switch is for rolling and balancing it, but I don't seem to be making any difference in what I've been doing. So whether that's coming later in a software edition, I don't know. Now, if you don't want to use the wheel, still in roll mode, you can use your joystick for a sort of more fluid adjustment to track your motion. Also, now the magic part of this one is if I press and hold that trigger, I can now move this gimbal where I want. So if I go here and point it that way, it follows me back. If I do a complete turn, you'll see. I was faster than you. But you can see it's very clever as a 2-man crew. So what this comes with is it has this screw element on the front here. And what I can do, I can screw that onto there. So what this comes with is a phone adapter. So I can put my phone in there like so. And now, if for example I'm using the Panasonic GH4, or if I use my G80 or a GH5 on this, I could use the imaging app on my phone and connect the phone to the camera, this wireless controller to the gimbal, and now you have a second operator. So you could either put this somewhere and leave it remotely and still see what you're doing on your phone screen, or a second operator could be controlling it whilst you have a gimbal operator walking around. So you could be getting the shots that you want by directing and moving your wheel as you need. Quite a neat idea. For me, don't think it's going to have much. Maybe for the odd piece to camera that I might want to do if I'm out and about, that what I can then do is, if I put that on that mode, I can start and stop recording, and then as I'm walking and talking, I could just roll this as I walk into shot and then present to camera. Maybe, I'm not sure if that's going to work, but it's a lovely idea. So let me take that off, take this off, and power this down. Now, as great as this sounds, it has a problem. There is a problem with having this and this and this and your imaging app or the Feiyu app all working together. If you use the Feiyu app to control your gimbal, so that, for example, for the GH4, if I want to enable the recording options of this through the Feiyu Tech app to my camera, just this, I can't use this controller. So I can't then just take this away and use it, because this is using the Wi-Fi to connect. This is using the Bluetooth, sorry, to connect to my phone. The camera's using my Wi-Fi. So now the Bluetooth's used up. So you can't randomly just take this and go off and do your next piece. It just doesn't work that way. You have to disconnect the gimbal from the app, and then you can connect this back to the gimbal, but you can't be using this at the same time, which is fine again if you're a two-man crew or you're doing a more deliberate shot. But for myself and possibly other YouTubers, it's an extra step, which is a bit of a faff. So I don't know if that's going to be used. It does come with various cables, which are supposed to be able to control the camera. But even with this connected, and let me just double check that as I say this, but if I press record now, I get nothing. If I press that now, it takes a photo, so I can get it to take a photo, but I can't get it to record video. I still have to press my record button on the GH4. But by pressing, I'll show you this way, by pressing the camera still button, it's taken me a photo. But if I press the camera record button, it's not doing me anything at all. So whether that's a design flaw or something else, I don't know whether that's going to be updated in software. So just one of them little things, which is a bit of a fiddly problem, because obviously I want to be able to take this and just press record when I need to, not have to reach up there and shake my camera, put all the weight onto one hand. Bit annoying. I haven't tried it with the 5D yet. There is a cable for that. I think that uses the USB 3 cable, I think, for that one. So I'll need to do a double check on that one. But as Panasonic cameras are my main vlogging and usage cameras, basically out in the field, that's what I'm going to want to be looking at. So let me take this off and show you some of the other features. So I'm now obviously hands-free. Let me put this over there, like so. Now, if I want to, and my screen is letting me know that I can do this, but if you do Insta stories, if you're a Jesse Driftwood fan, you'll know what he uses, but you can now do, you can do your selfies, which again is a bit of a problem if you have this on, because that's in the way of your shot if you've got a wide screen. So we'll put that there. If I put this in this mode, I can now press portrait. So I could now film my stories that way. So you still have the same gimbal functionality all the way through, but now I can film it as a story in portrait mode. You can put it back, and away you go. It's a nice idea. One of the other features, and I don't think this is going to get used much, but now this one, you kind of have to get your camera balanced slightly differently, I think, otherwise you don't get a pure 360. This camera at the moment, it's slightly to the right, or slightly to the left on my side of things, slightly to the left of the gimbal's line of axis. It's not on this motor, so if I do that, you'll see that it's doing a bigger circle. It's not a true one, so other cameras would obviously have a better setup. If you were to use more of a dedicated video camera, such as the Red or something like that, which this can carry. If you were to use a Red camera, for example, that this can carry, then you'd be able to line that up more central, or should be able to line it up more central, so that would be better. But you can do it and keep it going. It will just keep going until you stop it. You can stop that there. You can slow those right down, so they are super slow. Now, if I was to press this option here, this would be for the follow focus or a zoom, if your camera or lens has the zoom functionality. Now, this does come with the Feiyu Tech follow focus kit, but at this present time, I am in discussion with Feiyu Tech about it, as that mine's gone faulty. I'm sure it's just bad luck, but we are in the middle of sorting that out. But yes, you can pull focus. If you have like the kit lenses or the native lenses for like this Panasonic, I can pull focus. I can pull focus if I use the app with this one. But this is a Sigma 17-35 through a Viltrox adapter, and at the moment, even through the app, it won't let me pull focus. So, bit annoying. Again, it's something I need to try on the Canons. Canon is okay, the 5D Mark IV autofocus and that sort of generation of cameras, the autofocus on that is absolutely brilliant, so you could probably get by with not having to worry about the follow focus. Panasonic, not so good. Their follow focus, or their video focus is pretty horrific at best of times, so not something I would be using, so having to try and manually focus is quite hard, because again, you're introducing a shake, you're touching the lens, so not the greatest. Other features this has. So based on this menu, you have payload setting, photo spot. I don't know what they've called that. That's kind of like the action, the smoothest mode, how fast you want it to go. So default, smooth, action, and custom. So you can really create quite a unique experience for yourself on this one. So how sensitive you want it. Mine's currently on smooth. And then if I go across settings, got calibration and language. English, obviously. Your wheel settings, so you've got sensitivity, camera control, and autofocus. Now at the moment it says no brushless follower selected, but if I had that follow focus on, you can do a very long, repeatable focus pull. So you set your time that you want it to turn to. Obviously, I'd love to be able to show you. So you can set your start focus point and your end focus point, and then how long you want that to turn, how long you want it to get there. So if you said in 15 seconds, I want to be focused from back here, and then I want it to be there. You set those in and out points, set your time, and it will slowly turn the wheel and turn the focus until it hits that point. Now it'll only do it with the follow focus, it won't do it with like the software-based version, but that's a pretty clever thing, pretty clever. So, auto rotation. So this is an update to the previous one. So if you haven't seen the auto rotation before, there will be a video up here on the AK2000 version, which this does exactly the same thing, bar one extra feature, which I like. So in this one, you set your time. So you can set how long it will be moving on the pan axis, how long it will be moving on the tilt axis. If you're doing a photo time lapse, how long you want it to stop at that point. So if you were doing star photography and you need it to stop for 5 seconds per shot, it will stop and then do the next one. And then dwell is how long it's going to stay there as well. And then the amazing thing it has now, and it also that will tell you also how many photos that takes, but your root, as before, goes there. That will do that now. So that's stopping briefly every few seconds. But what amazing thing this does now, which the older versions didn't, is that when this reaches its end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it now stays. The old one on the AK2000 and the 4000, when it reached its end, it would turn, boing, and go back to default. This now stays at its end position. Fantastic, Feiyu Tech, fantastic. So now we're doing our panning shots or our time lapses, and we don't have this very abrupt end of shot that you can't use. It's now continuous, it will stay there. The amazing part of this is there's one extra feature, and it says use the last config. You now have repeatable moves on your time lapse. So if you want, however you want to do this, you set up a time lapse and you want to do it again and again and again. Obviously if you've moved it, it's only going to do the same moves but somewhere else. But you can now do repeatable moves. So if you did some kind of strange animation, or you just wanted to repeat a day in and a day out, easy. You just press that, and there you go. As you see, it has repeated that exact same move. You don't have to try and guess and hope you get it. If nothing has moved, you can do exactly the same move again. Again, Feiyu Tech, perfect, perfect. So that is it. You have this bigger screen now which tells you what mode you're on. So you've got, if this is off, let's take that off there. So now this one is just in pan mode, no tilting. If I press this one will now tilt and pan, as you can see. Press this one. This one is the one I still don't get why this one gets used, but this is all follows everything I do. And then I can now lock it. So that's that done. But what I can do with the app now is that I can set what I want this rear button to do. So I've set it so now it will tilt and pan. So if I put it in lock mode, obviously it's locked. But if I want to just make either a small adjustment, or I've changed my position, so I've gone from there and now I want to go there, I can now lock it there. So I can go point to point whilst holding the trigger and get an extra shot. Very clever. All very, very clever. So that's it. Oh, let me power this down. Quick release. This one's very good. Now, as before, you only had the one plate on it before, which is this bottom one here. So you'd flick that lever and you'd have to slide the whole thing off and do what you need to. Now, you have a smaller quick release, so you can take this off. If you wanted to do some quick handheld shots or some stills or anything like that, it gives your camera back to you kind of in a quicker way. Because then now I want to do some more gimbal stuff, so I can just slot that back on there. Obviously plug my cable back in, but that's good to go again. So you've got this real quick hot swapping rather than having to slide your main adjustment out. Obviously you'd have to readjust if you changed your lens, but straight out, great thinking. I believe, I haven't tried that actually, I believe it's a Benro fitting. Let me just check. I'll soon tell you. That's got a plate on it already. There you go. That is a Benro fitting. There you go, you learn something new every day, folks. But yes, so that means you can then take your camera, so you could technically travel with less cameras, and go and do your thing. So there you go. Let me put that back on there. Same as before, you have these bigger thumb screws on each axis to make your adjustments. You have on this one, you have two USB ports, one there and another one here. And then there's a camera control for USB for your Canon cameras on this side. So you'd plug in the follow focus into one of these USB ports, and then that one's for your Canon camera. Then this is the port just under here for your Panasonic cameras. That's it in a nutshell. Everything else is pretty much the same. Now you don't have to run with this handle. You could take this off and then you have a gimbal very similar to the AK2000, but it can carry a much more substantial weight. Off the top of my head, I don't know how much weight it is, so the weight is here. Amazing. So as you can see, I've come outside now. I'm going to do a gimbal walk around, so you get a sort of real world example of how smooth the gimbal is. So the gimbal is currently running the Canon 5D Mark IV and a Sigma 17-35 with no IS. So you get a sort of more real world look at how much the dampening of the gimbal, or how good it is. So this should give you a rough idea. So I'm going to do sort of a normal walk with no attempt to smooth it out with my body. Then I'll do a smoother walk, trying to dampen some of the roughness. The ground's not too bad, but we are on a hill, so it goes up that way. There's a couple of dips and stuff. So you'll just see me walking around looking funny. I shall do a couple of walks up and down, and then I'll do some low slung ones, and just try some different things, just so you get an idea of what it's like trying to use this gimbal in the real world. Right, let's crack on. If you want to be able to record video on the magic wand, all you need to do is, with the big red button on the front, press and hold, and now it starts recording video. You need to stop it, press and hold it again, and it stops, just like that. If you want to take a photo, press it once. So what do I love about it? I love its build quality and how well it works straight out the box. Once you've balanced, on, charged, poof, away you go. I do love this handle because it does make it easier for carrying, if nothing else. But where you have to disconnect this to connect that to this, that, oh, no. So I don't think this handle as an actual control unit is going to get much use. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's going to get as much use as I'd like. So I do foresee that possibly the handle just gets put in my camera bag, but I don't fit the main mounting point, because then that just gives me a smaller gimbal again. The thing I really don't like, and I wish Feiyu Tech would stop doing this, is their rubber on the handle is awful, because it's not that it doesn't give you grip, because it does. But what it does is, once it gets warm, once you've used it for a few hours, especially when I did a lot of testing with this one recently, and it got warm because it was a hot day, the rubber walks. It slides up over its little tiny little ridge, and then starts walking up. And this has been a problem on the AK4500. And after a while, this moves up so far that it actually starts sitting on the joystick. It doesn't stop or anything. There's nothing there to stop it sliding up because it is the tiniest little ridge. And it really annoys me. So at some point, I think I'm going to have to find something. I'm going to have to find something that stops this, because it does get very, very annoying. Because after a while, it rides up and it's just, it looks horrible, it feels horrible. And if it's starting to cover or push up on the joystick, you don't need it. You don't want that. So yeah, Feiyu Tech, change that design. Glue it, tape it, I don't care. Just, it needs to, you've got to change this. You could make it into an amazing grip. If it had more ridges on it and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter at this point, because what I need it to do is stop riding up over that little ridge. Needs something better. So please, Feiyu Tech, look at this bit, do something about it. But that's it. It is an amazing gimbal. It works really, really well, as well as any other gimbal I've used, albeit I've pretty much only used Feiyu Tech ones, but ronin-scs and stuff, but it's smooth. It's as smooth as it can be, and it's as smooth as you walk. Don't go buying one of these and thinking your footage is going to glide. You still need to put the effort in. You still need to glide and do the silly walk if you really want that smooth, silky footage. If you need that further assistance with your smoothness, put it in slow-mo. So the GH4 has 96, or you just do a 60 frames a second and just slow it down a little bit more. It will be a bit more forgiving on how much vibration and movement there is, but something to bear in mind. Apart from that, this is a really, really good gimbal. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. I believe at the moment the pre-order prices are on places like cvp.com and things at about £750. Would I pay that for it? No, because I don't need that weight, that payload. That's a serious amount that it can carry, and it's beyond what I would need. Like at the moment, this AK2000 has just got, and I know it's not balanced before anyone says a comment, but it's only got a Panasonic G80 with a kit lens, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for that. This will hold that but it needs a bit more weight to make it balanced and work better. So like at the moment, this is the Panasonic GH4 with a Sigma 17-35 with the Viltrox adapter on it, just to bulk it out a bit more, so I could put my 24-105, which is a heavier lens again, and then I'm starting to have to carry that around, which is fine if it's a corporate thing. So put this into a slightly more serious than landscape vlogs and things like that. Perfect. For myself, it's overkill. If I take this off and just run with that, it's a lot better, but it's still just, for budget wise, too far from my use. But that doesn't detract from how good it is and what it does. It does what it needs to do. It's not aimed at me, if that makes sense. The AK2000 is aimed at me, and the 4000, if you carry things like the Canon 5Ds with bigger lenses, that's what that's aimed at. And this is aimed at bigger cameras again. So you could certainly see this carrying a Red Epic with a big beast of a lens and be okay. I don't have a Red Epic. Hey Red, would you like to send me a camera? You have to try. So that's my review. I like it. It's not for me, but I like it. So I hope you found that useful. I will keep updating as I find things. Once I get the follow focus back up and running, I will do another video based on that. If you have any questions about this one, I'm more than happy to investigate the things for you on the screens, the settings and everything like that. As always, thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. And I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Also, thank you Feiyu Tech. You're awesome. Cheers.